is one of the regular sights I get when I walk into work.
Greetings YouTube, so today is Friday, and on a Friday of late I've been heading down to the local antiques fair because the history that is presented and available at a cost always catches my interest, particularly in the items that you wouldn't think about in great depth. The church was filled out as always, selling off the different items ranging from tools to jewellery to china objects, but my heart always takes me over to the cameras in the corner because photography runs in my veins. The mystery of who used to use these cameras and what images they took always fascinates me, as I always want to know what's the story behind them, particularly on that Kodak cine camera that is quite a rare sight to see. Canon were ever present with an AE1 and a 24mm f2.8 lens, Zenit were there as well as Cosinger, and lenses by Sigma and Tamron in the old style mounts that we don't normally see today. There was also a rare throwback to Olympus from their glory days, and Minolta, who are now under the Sony brand. The clocks in the corner really told the story of these objects, how they've been passed through time and lost their meaning through their owners either being deceased or younger generations not appreciating the items like their fathers and mothers did. And that's what fascinates me about antiques fairs, that regardless of their history being lost unless they've been told through the seller, people can purchase these items and give them a new meaning, regardless of their history and life effectively being lost through time. From pirate ornaments to ancient Egypt, which I love, to sherry pots and china turtles and a whole range of dogs, the mystery that continues to grow with these items that have lost their history. Who owned them? What made them purchase them? What was it that meant so much to them that others don't see? It's those questions that never get answered. Or maybe we're just too afraid to ask those questions, like with the eggs and the tea sets here that were actually purchased from Japan 15 to 20 years earlier. I wouldn't have known this had I not asked about them. Some of the items already had the answers up front, like there was a plate that was commemorating the coronation of Queen Elizabeth, that what was over 50 years ago, the royal wedding celebration is going to be today. The tools of history are with us today, whether they're items that have been used to help build our houses to items that helped our grandparents find their way home when they got lost one day. These items are effectively in a retirement home, waiting for someone to give them a new history the moment they take them and own them as their new possession. While I would have liked to have been a person who gave these items a new home today, it wasn't to be, but rather to tell the story of these items. One of the sellers even showed me this silver-plated trumpet that was built in the late 1800s and possibly used in the First World War. Most that had been found were normally for a Defiant class regiment, but this was for a Supreme class. He even showed me this typewriter that was from 1917. It appeared to be in working condition and would be the equivalent of a war laptop today. Certainly has better RAM memory than mine, but poor wireless capabilities. But just amazing about how much this has gone through, and it's still around today in one piece. As my session ended, I knew I'd be returning the following Friday. I continue to be fascinated by the mystery of items, but I also look for items to give a new home to, because it's amazing how these items have had so much history given to them that has been lost in the blink of a second. As we continue to make homes for brand new items, we mustn't forget the items that have been before them, the ones that will continue to make history as long as they're not forgotten. They'll never be forgotten by those who treasured them, that's to say the least. But we must remember that sometimes when some things get lost in history, we shouldn't go about forgetting them, because if there's one thing that should remain important, especially to us, is that history means everything.